Earth Force's loss at Proxima 3 was a significant blow to Clark. Although he tried to conceal the defeat, Captain Sheridan's propaganda machine, known as the Voice of the Resistance, broadcast the news throughout the galaxy. The defeat was even more devastating because Sheridan managed to convince 2 Earth destroyers to join him in his cause. However, Sheridan now faced some new dilemmas. The first challenge was the need to protect Babylon 5 while liberating other worlds from Clark's forces. To ensure the security of his rear flanks, he requested that every League race commit at least 1 medium or larger warship to defend Babylon 5. This request was a condition for placing the White Star Fleet on their borders to protect them from raiders. The second concern for Sheridan was that now Clark was aware of the renewed hostilities. He had lost the element of surprise. Consequently, Earth Force began to reinforce their bases and outposts in preparation for Sheridan's next move. President Clark began claiming that Sheridan was under the control of the Minbari, who were using him to finish what they had started years before: the extermination of the human race. He backed up his claims by stating that the White Star ships were crewed by Minbari and pointed to his engagement with Minbari Ambassador Delenn as evidence. As many still remembered the horrors of the Minbari War, it was easy for Clark to garner public and military support against Sheridan. Captain Sheridan anticipated that Clark would use this tactic and countered by utilizing only the White Star Fleet with human commanders. While he had a massive support fleet consisting of Major and League race ships backing him, bringing these forces into battle could diminish his public support and make his fight appear more like a mission of conquest rather than liberation. Therefore, he had to be cautious about what he deployed to each engagement. Sheridan was eager to reach Mars as soon as possible, but he knew that several military bases and thousands of ships and fighters lay between him and Mars. While he could navigate to the Sol system and liberate Mars and Earth, such a battle would be a bloodbath, requiring him to deploy all of his forces and allied ship. This tactic would likely cost him support and expose his flanks to Earth's counterattacks, ruining diplomatic relations between Earth and other worlds for decades. As a result, Sheridan decided to focus on liberating Beta Durani from Clark's rule. This planet was one of the first to declare independence from Earth following the Mars bombings. It had minimal defensive capabilities and fell quickly to occupation. For nearly a year, the planet endured forced occupation, with hundreds of inhabitants rounded up, tortured, imprisoned, and even killed. The force guarding Beta Durani consisted of a powerful fleet of 41 warships, 12 of which were Omega destroyers commanded by officers loyal to Clark. The fleet had been extensively briefed on Proxima and the White Stars and was heavily reinforced, simply waiting for Sheridan to make his move. When Sheridan finally entered the system, he advanced rapidly against the Earth ships. Upon reaching firing range, he once again offered the fleet the opportunity to withdraw or surrender. The Earth Force captains who had joined Sheridan from Proxima could pursue nearly half the Earth ships, switch allegiances, and join Sheridan. However, despite this unexpected loss of ships, the remaining loyal forces fought fiercely against Sheridan. They opened fire, leading to a chaotic battle with heavy casualties. One ship, the Nova-class vessel Hayden, was crewed by Clark fanatics and chose to fight until the end. They pushed its weapons array beyond safe limits by force charging directly from the ship's main reactor, bypassing numerous safety measures. This reckless decision resulted in the reactor exploding and destroying the vessel, along with all hands on board. 3 Omega destroyers attempted to corner Sheridan's White Star and concentrate their fire on him. Their tactic might have succeeded if not for a White Star commander who realized their plan and heroically rammed the lead Omega, destroying it and giving Sheridan a chance to escape the onslaught. As the battle turned against Earth Force, 2 Hyperion cruisers made a panicked jump into hyperspace. However, since they opened the jump points almost directly on top of each other, the massive energy released from the resulting explosions destroyed both ships and many retreating fighters. The blast also took out 6 White Stars. In the end, Beta Durani was liberated in under 5 hours, and Sheridan gained support from nearly a dozen new Earth ships. However, the cost was significant. Sheridan lost almost half of all his fighter support from Babylon 5 and became reliant on the fighters from his supporting Earth ships moving forward. He also lost several White Stars in the battle. Once it was safe, several Belt Alliance ships entered the system, delivering much-needed food and medical supplies. As Sheridan continued his crusade to liberate the Earth Alliance, his number of Earth ships grew, but the cost of each battle increased with every engagement. Little did Sheridan know that President Clark still had a few aces up his sleeve and was preparing to use them. Following the liberation of Beta Durani, Sheridan took stock of his forces. He had gained a large number of Earth ships but lost a large number of White Stars and Starfrees in the process. Since the Minbari had not produced any new White Stars since the Vorlons left the galaxy, he had to use them sparingly. He also didn't want to commit his Earth ships to battle as they would be needed when he tackled Earth itself. For now, he had the rebel Earth ships stay behind to protect liberated worlds from reprisals from Clark. With the colony world secure, Sheridan had more latitude when it came to planning his next move. The liberation of Proxima and Beta Durani required swift action before Clark's forces killed any more innocent lives. After that, the only planet in danger was Mars, but Sheridan knew that he could not yet move against Earth's home system. They still had several military outposts and mid-range bases that had to be neutralized before moving forward. Sheridan prefaced his next serious move with a series of feints and false attacks against each of the Earth Force outposts he needed to take out. Taking full advantage of the White Star's exceptional speed and maneuverability, Sheridan harassed the Earth outpost for several days before making any serious move. The White Stars would jump into a system, make a long-range flyby of their defense, and then flee before the Earth ships could respond. These flybys gave Sheridan valuable intelligence about the disposition of their assets and also put the Earth Force commanders on edge. In one case, 6 false raids took place in 24 hours. Earth commanders would have to scramble fighters, go to red alert, and get everyone up about a potential battle. Then, the White Stars would be gone long before any shots could be taken. President Clark's orders not to pursue the enemy into hyperspace also frustrated Earth Force commanders. Their main objective was to defend their bases. Clark was preparing an offensive of his own and needed these bases intact, as well as bolstering his defenses at home. He would need these bases to attack Babylon 5. As the false raids continued, Sheridan began to move his forces into position. The raids were having the desired effect. After countless false alarms, Earth Force reflexes were starting to dull and become complacent. Many began to believe that the real attack would never come, even though there was still a real chance of it happening. On the last day of the raids, 38 minutes after the previous flyby, Sheridan attacked 4 bases simultaneously. Most of the Earth fighters had landed and were in the process of refueling when Sheridan attacked. 2 small bases fell quickly when the defending fleet forces retreated. The base commanders surrendered without any shots being fired. The other 2 bases were Orion 7 and Deneb 4. Orion was well fortified with an Orion-class space station and 37 warship. While most of their fighters were refueling, the base commanders still chose to fight. Realizing the battle was lost, nearly a full third of the defending fleet changed sides before combat. Half the remaining ships jumped out and ran, leaving only 3 Omegas and 4 Novas to fight. This battle was still no cakewalk. The fleet commander was a Minbari war veteran who saw Sheridan as a Minbari sympathizer and true traitor to the human race, so she stood her ground. Charging her fleet into Sheridan's forces, 2 of the Omegas and all 4 Novas were destroyed. The final Omega, the fleet commander's flagship, rammed the Orion station when the station commander offered to surrender, killing both. The battle for Deneb was much easier. Most of the Earth ships retreated, and local resistance fighters quickly overwhelmed the few ground forces on the planet. The garrison commander would later be tried and convicted by a military tribunal for war crimes and executed 2 years later. As with early battles, Sheridan gained more Earth ships and cleared the way to move deeper into Earth space. President Clark was now getting paranoid that his military commanders were plotting against him, and he soon took direct control of all military forces. But now was the time for Clark to strike back at Sheridan, planning a surprise attack that might help him turn the tide of the war.